So I just finished my first week of graduate school, or going back into graduate school. Went back into in-person, and it was, to say the least, it was overwhelming. It was an overwhelming week because this semester, and in my previous video I said I was in my last 2 semesters in my graduate program, in my master's in divinity. And to say the least, I was overwhelmed. I was anxious. A lot of factors were going into it because I didn't know how it was going to be back in person for the last year and a half. I didn't know how to interact in a classroom. I didn't know how to interact with people. I only knew the people that were with me in my home for the last year and a half and my friends for the last year and a half, let alone going back into in-person. In the classroom was a whole different feeling and emotion that was going in me. But I got through it, and it was probably one of the best weeks of my life, despite best weeks of going into school, because I was kind of dreading it, to be candid. But it was one of the best fulfilling weeks, and it was something I was telling Val, who my wife is. It was needed. It was well needed. It somehow solidified and somehow gave me another boost of encouragement of, this is where I want to be, and this is the pathway I want to be in. No matter how different it looks, it encouraged me, and it was one of those things I was just like, wow, I can't believe I'm here, that I get to actually do this. And the reason was I'm dreading it is because I'm working 2 jobs, and I have school, right? And I'm taking 5 classes this semester, which is unheard of. And I think it's one of those things where I wanted to challenge myself, and hopefully by the end of the semester, I won't be too burnt out. And again, these videos are for my own fulfillment of me practicing speaking, practicing kind of just being comfortable with my thoughts and my emotions, and kind of putting them in a coherent and broadcasting them in a coherent way. So there's gonna be a lot of mistakes, a lot of failure, and that's okay for me. I just want to put these videos out so I could actually look back at them 2 semesters from now and see how much I've grown and accomplished, or not grown and accomplished. But I just wanted to talk about, because of and you may be like me, where you feel like there's a lot going on, right? I have 2 kids that I'm trying to raise and be a great father with. I have a beautiful wife that I'm trying to attain to and be a great husband to, and I have work that I'm trying to be efficient and effective as possible. So there's a lot of things going on, and I was just this week, I was just realizing how much it takes for me to just be where I'm at right now. Because for a long time, I can say that I feel great despite of everything that's going on, because I put a team around me, meaning I have my wife of support, but also a therapist. I have a spiritual director that I talk to once a month. I have my friends that when I have the time, get to hang out with them. So they give me this boost of energy and boost of just joy that you do need to block out for, that you need to be very intentional of blocking out time in your calendar, on your phone calendar, wherever you write down your schedule on. Block out time for some joy and for some fun, because it goes a long way. And it goes to say, what I wanted to talk about today is something I've been thinking about, and it's taking the time to be still, right? Taking the time, whatever, or taking a sabbath, as what they call it in my faith tradition. Taking a sabbath is literally just whatever gives you boost, whatever gives you a joy, a jolt of energy, of refreshment for the next 6 days. Right, I usually try to take my Sabbath on a Sunday, right, where I don't think about anything, where I don't look at my phone, where I just want to be with my kids. I try to do that. I'm not perfect at it, But I see the importance of it, especially if you're like me, and you're high achieving, you want to do so many things. And if you're familiar with the Enneagram, I'm an Enneagram 7, with a 7 and 8, which is related I scored very close together as an 8, but as a 7, like I'm always looking for the next best thing, right? I'm always looking for, okay, how could I achieve my goals? Okay, I wrote that goal down. What can I do next? What can I do next? What can I do next? What can I achieve in today's day? What can I do? And with doing that, what tends to happen is you forget about your own well-being. You forget about, you're achieving so much externally outside, right? But you're neglecting achieving the goals that are well needed internally, meaning with your heart, with your soul, with your body. And sometimes we forget that, especially if you're busy, and you don't take time for yourself, and you don't take time to intentionally get yourself healthy internally. So what does that look like to me? For me, it looks like just spending a day of not doing anything, nothing productive at all. And it's okay to do nothing that is productive. Meaning, like, you could just have a day if you have a family, spend time with your family, intentional time with your family. Or if you like reading, if you like playing sports, whatever it may be, taking that time to do those activities so it can give you a boost of energy. But most importantly, it's the importance of just staying still. Like those actions of, like, spending time with your family and doing things that you love doing, spending time with your friends and family. Those are very action oriented, if that makes sense. But when was the last time where you actually were still and just sit with your thoughts for a moment? Or even if it's just a walk, a brisk, slow walk where there's no agenda, you're just walking and letting your thoughts just flow, and just letting nature or letting the environment around you, just embracing the moment without any agenda. And I think that there's an importance in that. If you're like me, your thoughts are constantly just running at 1,000 miles an hour, and or you have a lot of things to do on your calendar, or there's a lot of things that you want to attain, right? It's just this hustle mentality that I think can literally kill someone internally. It reminded me, though, of how much that can also break you. And take moments out of your time, and I'm reminding myself of taking moments out of my day to just close my eyes and just sit with my thoughts and just sit and be still. Right? In ancient scriptures, in the Psalms, specifically Psalms 46:10, it's a famous verse in the Christian tradition of, be still and know that I'm God. Right? Be still and know that there's a lot of things going on in just today. And there's a lot of things going on in our own world where there's something about just being still and not thinking about those things, but thinking about your own well-being from time to time will give you this bolster of energy. And sometimes it doesn't. It's just the act of not doing anything and being still is such a powerful gesture for yourself internally. And it reminds me of what this minister said is learning how to be happy for no reason. Learning how to be happy for no reason. And that's such a powerful statement, is because what tends to happen is we attach our happiness with things and accolades and goals. And don't twist my words and say, what are you saying, goals are not important? No, goals are important. I have goals. I write them down, right? I have a journal of things that I want to accomplish. But if I attach my happiness to that, there's some reality of that I might not accomplish that goal. So if I don't accomplish that goal, then I'm not happy, right? It's learning how to be happy for no reason. And this is what this person says. It says, learn how to be happy for no reason, because if you're happy for a reason, once that reason goes away, your happiness will too. Learn how to be happy for no reason. And that's something hard for me, right? I like clothes, I like fashion, I like shopping and putting clothes together, right? I heard a person say, I don't just wear clothes, I wear outfits, right? That's one of my mantras, right? No, but it's detaching your happiness away from things, right? Or even your accolades and your goals and your titles and things like that. Because those, if you only find your identity in things and titles and what you have done, especially in our Western world type of thinking, to where we always have to continue to achieve. What's the next thing? Okay, I have to do this. Then after I do this, I'm going to do this. It's never enough. It's never enough. And what I'm reminded, even as a chaplain, that we're going to die. Right? As a hospice chaplain, that we are going to die. And putting our attachment to things and accolades and titles, not to say those are bad things, it's just that we find our identity in those things, where we actually don't know who we actually are apart from those things. We don't know who we are apart from what we did, what we achieved, right? I'm getting my master's, right? And I'm grateful. I'm going to be proud for sure, because this is a great accomplishment. But what I don't want for myself is find my identity in that, right? And it's knowing the identity that the divine God, or if you have whatever faith tradition, is calling you to be, your identity, right? And sometimes, and I'll end here, is we forget the little things that are actually happening around us, right? It's staying still, learning to stay still, learning how to be happy for no reason. And the last thing is seeing the little things. I read this devotional. It says, sometimes it seems like a majority of God's pearls get trampled by those of us who don't notice, right? There's a lot of big things that we may consider small that are very significant in our life, right? It's noticing the small things. And these are things that I'm preaching to myself, that I'm talking to myself about, because I'm always thinking about the next big thing. But what's happening now that is very mundane, very small, not so significant in the world's eyes, or not the world's eyes, but like society, culture tells you what are big things. Like, but simply just being, like for me, like being with my daughter, right? Or when she paints my nails, like that's not a big thing. That's not a big achievement. But it's those small things that may be big to my daughter's eyes, right? And it's a huge thing, like playing, like my boy likes playing Nerf guns, right? Those are big to him, right? It's just shooting a Nerf gun. It's not like I'm doing social justice stuff, right? But it's those small things that could be trampled by always concentrating on the next best thing. And so what I'm saying is this, just to the importance of staying still, right? The importance of learning how to be happy for no reason, and learning how to see the small things as significant.